Welcome to lesson number 4, and that's going to be enums. Although Golang doesn't have the concept of enums actually, but we can do some nifty tricks to achieve kind of the same thing, right? So it's very important. That's why I basically have had the types, the custom types in the lesson 3, and right now it's enums. So basically, let's say we're gonna have, for example, a weapon type, right? Because I love to give these game feeling examples, because most of the people already have experienced something with games, so it's very hard, very easy to grasp, right? So we're gonna have some kind of a game, a weapon type actually, a weapon type, right? And that could be, for example, we could have a weapon type X. We could have a sword. We could also have a wooden stick, something like that. X, sword, wooden stick. What could we also have as a weapon? A knife, right? A knife. Of course, always knife. So we have these 4 kind of types. So how can we do that, right? So for example, we're gonna make a function here, right? And that's why I don't specifically teach functions, because we're gonna use them so much that it's going to be second nature, right? So we're gonna say, for example, func. That's a good question. What are we going to do? Get damage, for example. Get damage. Get damage. Yes, get damage, and we're going to give it, for example, a weapon type here. And that, but basically, I'm going to basically pseudocode this function real quick. It's going to be get damage, and we're going to give it a weapon type, right? For example, let's do it. Let's code it, pseudocode it real quick. For example, you're gonna say get weapon. You're gonna do a string here, the weapon, weapon type. What am I doing here? I cannot even type. Weapon type, and we're gonna put a string because we will come to the weapon type, to the enum later on, and we're gonna return an integer because it's going to return damage, right? So we could do something like this: switch, which is actually the first control statement. And like I said, I'm going to cover the control statements in the next episode, in the next lesson, I think, or in a couple lessons further on, but I'm still going to do it, right? So it's a switch, and we're going to switch because switch is actually in each language kind of the same, right? So we're going to say switch weapon type, right? And what we're going to do is case. Case, it's an X, right? What we're going to do is basically we're going to return how much damage is the next going to do. I don't know. Let's return 100 or something, right? And then we're going to say case. It's going to be a sword, right? And a sword is going to return us, I don't know. It's a little bit less. Let's do 90 or something, right? And then we are going to say case the wooden stick, of course. The wooden stick here. Actually, I'm going to do it like that. The wooden stick is going to return 1 because it's a wooden stick. And then we're going to say the knife, right? And the knife is going to return us, I don't know, a little bit less as a sword. Let's maybe do 40 or something, right? Of course, you can see we do a switch statement, but still our function needs to return because we declared that it's going to return an int, which in case we find something in the switch statement, we're going to return. But in case we don't find it, we need to specify that case. And in Golang, in the switch statements, we can do something like this, default, right? And default, we're going to say return, we could do a panic, right? And what is a panic? A panic is basically like an exception. But it's not like an exception, actually, but it's just panic. And the program will stop. No matter what's going on, the program will stop. And it will print out a stack trace and the message you give it, right? That's panic. Try it yourself, and you will see what happens. And we're going to try it actually. So we're going to say panic weapon does not exist. Boom, like that. Cool. That's basically get damage, right? And then we could do something like this: fmt println here, println, and we're going to say damage of the given weapon. Weapon is going to be get damage of the knife. To be honest, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Damage of weapon. Hey. Boom. So the damage of the weapon is 40. Why is it 40? Because it's the knife, right? And we could do the same thing. Let's do a panic. The knife without the letter K, we're gonna have some big troubles here. Boom. You see, panic. Weapon does not exist. Hey. Now you know how panics works in Golang. Very simple. But we can actually refactor this a little bit by using or constructing what I call an enum in Golang, which is technically not an enum, but hey, it doesn't really matter, right? So how are we going to do that? First of all, we're going to make a custom type. We're going to say, we're going to make a type, and it's going to be a weapon type, right? And what is our weapon type going to be? We can actually choose, right? I'm going to call, you could do, most of the time I'm doing integers, and you will see why. So weapon type, and that's going to be an integer. And you can already see it coming. Weapon type 0, weapon type 1, weapon type 2, they're all going to correspond to a certain weapon type, right? So then what we're going to do is we're going to make some constants, right? Because it's a weapon type, we cannot change that, right? It's going to be constants. And then we're going to say, for example, first of all, we need to specify the name. We're going to say X. The X is going to be a weapon type, right? And it's going to be 1, right? And then we can say, for example, the sword is going to be a weapon type 2. The wooden stick is going to be a weapon type 3. And then we have the knife here, and the knife is going to be a weapon type, what's going on, of 4, right? So how are we going to do this? Instead of saying, how are we going to refactor this? Instead of saying weapon type string, we're going to say weapon type, which is going to be a weapon type, right? Exactly what we did. We have our own type. We made our own type, which is underlying an integer, but hey, doesn't matter. It's underlying an integer. We basically defined our enum here, and I have a cool trick I'm going to show you in a minute. And then, of course, instead of doing this X thingy, we can say X, right? Because now we have the weapon types, right? We're going to say, what is this? A sword. This is going to be a wooden stick. So we're going to say wooden stick. And then, of course, we have a knife here. A knife. Boom, it's 40. So then we're going to say, give me the damage of a knife, right? And then we're going to run this thing. Boom, it's 40. Give me the weapon damage of an X. Did I save this? No, I didn't. Save it right now. Boom, it's going to be 100, right? So that's basically how we can construct some kind of enums here. Although there is a very nice trick I have, and that's basically, you could do something like this, right? If you have this weapon type, and it are integers, very important, I'm going to delete everything here, right? And I'm going to say that the weapon type, instead of 1, I'm going to say iota. Right, what does iota do? I have no clue. It doesn't matter. Just remember it. You could do an iota, which basically means it's going to increment everything what's basically below, right? So this weapon type X is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and everything you place below will automatically increment to 4, 5, 6. So that's basically how we can construct a very nice enum, right? And it's gonna perfectly work fine here. Let's go run, and you see it works. It's still the same. And right now I'm going to show you a cool trick, because let's make here a print format, and we're going to say the damage of weapon, and we're going to say the weapon is going to be a %s, right? A %s, which is going to be an X here, and then we're going to say get damage of X, just like that. And of course, we need to specify a %d because it's an integer. And then we're going to say a new line here. New line, just like that. What's going on here? Of course, there's going to be a problem with this X because that's going to be an integer actually. So we're going to do it like that. And then you could see here what's going on here. Let's run this. Boom, you could see damage of weapon 0 is 100, right? But because why? Because X is basically the first in our enum list, in our const list, right? So sword should be 1 and wood stick should be 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this a couple times. And then we're going to say here sword. And let's do what do we have here? A wooden stick, actually. I was thinking about this. Wooden stick. Of course, we didn't actually top engineered this, I know, but it's just to give you an idea. Boom, and you can see damage of weapon 0 is 100, 1 and 2. So that's basically how you can do enums, and you could also do a cool trick here. You could attach functions, but that's actually already too advanced, but I'm going to show you anyway. And that's basically this. We could do func weapon type here. Weapon type, and we're going to say string. That's actually more for the interfaces later on, but hey, it is what it is. And we're going to return a string here. And now I'm actually already thinking, should I actually show this? But I'm going to do it anyway, right? Because hey, it's you know me for the people who know me from YouTube. It is what it is. So we can do a switch here. We could do a switch statement once again on this W thingy, and then we could say case if it's a weapon type, if it's a sword. I'm gonna not do it with every thingies. I'm gonna just do it with the sword here. Case the weapon type is a sword, we're going to return sword, right? And maybe we could do another one actually real quick. We're gonna say the X, just like that, and I'm gonna return X as a string, right? And I'm gonna show you actually at the interface course why this is working, and that's because we are basically attaching a function which is a string, which is a stringer interface, and that basically means, and let me return an empty string here real quick to make the compiler happy. And then I'm going to say here, instead of printing out the weapon name here, right, we're going to do it in S, and that basically means that Golang compiler will automatically detect if the thing you're placing, this X, sword, or wooden stick, which is all of the type weapon type, if it has a string function attached. And I'm going to cover this all in the interfaces, guys. Don't worry, I'm going to cover it. So basically what's going to happen right now is that we did sword and X. So we're going to do here, delete the wooden stick real quick, and I'm going to do this, boom. And you can see right now that instead of these numbers, we have these nice string representations. I know it's a little bit too advanced. We're going to cover that in the interfaces, but hey, now you already know. And that's basically how you can construct the same like behavior as enums in Golang.